Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com. Tonight, we're at the NOLA Brewery Tap Room in the Irish Channel.
The tap room is NOLA Brewing's on-site watering hole. They serve NOLA's regular lineup of craft beers as well as 8 specialty beers you can't get anywhere else. I'm enjoying the breakfast brown right now as we speak.
And the tap room is open 7 days a week, weekdays from 2 to 11 p.m. and in weekends from 11 in the morning till 11:30 p.m.
Well, so glad you could join us. Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to have a beer with us, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a fellow restaurant colleague. Well, our special guest tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One is
Roy Nelson of Fest Cola.
All right, welcome. Well, first of all, before we get to that, though, let's catch up on our culinary adventures, Margot. I know you've been out of the country. I'm just going to mention one quick, and I want to hear what happened in Indonesia, in Bali. But that's where it is, isn't it? Isn't Bali in Indonesia?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing that happened to me. My wife did something to me she hasn't done in years. I don't know what came over her. But we were coming back from a wonderful day volunteering, helping out with some folks, and I was on top of the world. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, we're driving down Claiborne. We're going towards a certain fast food chain. I won't say what it is. It's like all the rest of them. It doesn't matter. They're all different shapes of the same corn, right, or whatever. But I got deeply offended that we were going there. So I jumped out of the car at a red light, and I ran in randomly to the restaurant that was closest to me, which was not a chain, which was Chicken and Watermelon. And I'm so glad I did. It wouldn't have been my first choice. I went past it a few times, but it's not. I don't know. It just doesn't jump out at me necessarily. But I went in there and ordered through the plexiglass, and I got some absolutely fantastic wings, life-changing wings. I'm telling you, I loved it. I didn't get any of the watermelon, but I got the wings, and they were so good. And the fries were so good. I got with this Cajun sauce, and it was cheap and terrific and delightful. And it made me not even regret that my wife and daughter betrayed all my principles by going to this fast food place. But big chain. But anyway, how about you? What you had to? Well, no, wait. Did I hear that you got sick though while you were away? You didn't get to eat much.
I did not eat solid food for 7 days.
7 days
trip.
Straight?
Yes.
No solid food.
No.
Were you food poisoning? What happened?
It was the food or the water. I don't even want to get into it. They said don't drink the water. And I'm embarrassed. No, I didn't drink the water, but I am so, let's just say naive, I guess, or unworldly, that I didn't realize I shouldn't brush my teeth with it if you cannot drink it. And I brought my Dr. Tishna's, and I used it. Yeah. Literally like 5 nights. Yeah. And 5 days, and then on the 6th day, I did not use the Dr. Tishna, and that's when I got sick. So I really think it was the water from. But anyway, that's not interesting. I would like to get to our special guest this evening.
Yeah, let's not dally any longer because he is a fascinating person. We are so glad. I mean, we have with us none other than Fest Cola's genius. Sweetened with Louisiana cane sugar, New Orleans original craft soda. Craft soda, you don't hear about that much. I think New Orleans only has one, and this is it. It's served in places everywhere from Cochon down to the corner markets, Rainbow Grocery, and everything in between. All over the place, taking storm across the region in a short time it's been with us. I'm very excited to have with us today Roy Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. It's really nice to be here.
So, Roy, will you share with us how long you've Fest Cola's been in actual action, and then we'd like to know a little bit of the history of how it came about.
We launched in stores back in April of 2014, just myself going off a delivery truck, going to customer, and we've grown to about 130 to 150 locations.
Now, don't you deliver all those yourself?
I do all of it myself for the most part, unbelievably.
130 to 150 locations
yes.
You deliver yourself.
Absolutely. So that way you make sure everything is getting handled properly. Unfortunately, obviously, once we grow, as we are growing, we're going to have to finally start to bring on some more people and bring a distributor in. But going back to 2013 is when we really started working on the beverage line and trying to come up with the flavors. So I'm not just a truck driver. We're the janitor and the creator and the researcher and all the marketing and everything in between. So it gets you got to wear a lot of hats. It gets confusing day to day exactly what you're supposed to be doing when you wake up in the morning. But at any rate, we started back in 2013. That we being my wife and I of really starting to work on these flavors. We worked with a food chemist to kind of get it, and we started kind of with what we were going to do and how we came up with our 4 flavors: the bourbon cream soda, the almond cola, pecan root beer, and the Satsuma mint. And it really kind of was born out of our love for New Orleans and being here and just being really passionate about people here wanting to like it. Of course, you always have these hopes that you're going to grow outside of your backyard and out into the nation. And well, we kind of didn't think about any of those people, so to speak. so and I think in that way we were able to come up with something that I think was truly original and unique. And obviously, as you said, it's 100% cane sugar, and that's something where we're committed to the state as well. And trying
right now, almost all soda is high fructose corn syrup. And I was talking to a doctor about a month ago, and he said that there's actually something in the chemistry you learned in medical school about high fructose corn syrup that actually fools your appetite, and so makes you consume more. And he said it's not even just the calories in it; it's more like what it does to your appetite. And he said that cane sugar doesn't do that. Is that true? Have you heard that?
I have not heard that, and I mean, certainly...
that could be a selling point. You should add that.
Let me write that down real quick.
I'm a doctor, I mean, my last chemistry class was in high school, but, you
4 out of 5 radio show host. Now, I mean, I've heard, obviously, high fructose corn syrup, everyone's heard a lot of bad things about it, and, obviously it's a genetically modified.
Right.
Whereas when you use cane sugar, at least you're getting something that is non-GMO. Just for people who don't know about sugar.
That's huge.
Beet sugar and corn syrup, are GMO. And
wow.
There is no GMO process for cane sugar. So,
really?
But when
all cane sugar is non-GMO.
Non-GMO.
Also, it's local. It's Louisiana, so it's supporting the local state economy by drinking your soda rather than wherever they are genetically modifying that stuff in the lab and wherever. Yeah,
exactly. And so going along with that, we don't use any artificial flavors in there as well, and we also use all natural coloring with it to kind of finish off that.
Now, how does that work? I mean, the color is really rich. It's a beautiful soda. Like you don't have to use artificial color to get to look that nice orange for the Satsuma and all that. And
you don't have to use it. It's a little trickier with orange because we use combinations of vegetable juice and fruit juice, very small amounts of it, but concentrated.
So it doesn't change the flavor, but it can change the color.
Doesn't change the flavor at all. And they're not as stable as artificial colors, so as it sits on the shelf, you'll get fading, or the colors will start to kind of disperse, and the bottle might have to be swirled a little bit. But it's just something you have to deal with, not to use artificial colors.
So what was it like tasting all the flavors? Did you narrow it down? Did you come with 10 flavors and narrow it down to the 4?
We didn't even start with 10. I had in my head, I think I sat on this idea before that and incubated for so long that I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do an almond cola because I wanted to do some variation from Dr. Nut that was around in New Orleans for 50 or so years in the last century.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And I could never figure out really exactly how it tasted, except it was somewhere between like a Dr. Pepper and a cola, and that it had some almond notes to it. And we brought it back to almond cola because I know there's people alive in New Orleans that have had it, but I couldn't find anyone to tell me exactly what it tasted like. Back in the 70s, they used to have a Dr. Nut squirrel that used to go in all the parades down St. Charles Avenue. So, it had its little cult following here. Going
that's
back
brilliant.
to the Confederacy of Dunces, it's Ignatius Riley's favorite beverage.
Oh, that's
so,
right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
so a lot of people heard it, through that book.
Yes.
But and the Satsuma mint was kind of we knew we were going to do a Satsuma. We didn't know it was going to be a mint until we got in the lab and we tried a whole lot of different things. And I never thought that was going to taste as good as it did. But, it's just one of those
So is that
things.
actually made from natural Satsuma, natural mint flavors, or no?
It is not. It's made from extracts and different flavors. The mint is, yes.
Wow.
The satsuma, we don't use fruit juice in it because we're a cold-filled product.
Okay.
And so that kind of prevents the actual fruit juice. And then there's more fruit juice issues you get into with sodas as far as shelf life and how it holds in the bottle. So our bourbon cream soda does use, well, I give away a secret ingredient here, but
Oh, don't get yourself in trouble.
all right, I won't. I'll just keep it down.
Oh,
Radio
Stop it.
suspense.
Why did I do that? This is why I'm a bad show host. I'm more worried about you than our show.
I'll give that one away, but
Okay.
it was, instead of using regular vanilla in it, simply we use, bourbon vanilla,
Huh.
and it creates a completely different flavor. I don't know why anyone has never thought of that one before.
Huh.
so
Not
it's
too hard.
aged in, is it?
Bourbon
But
vanilla
it's
is just
not-
a regular product.
Yeah,
It's
what is
not
bourbon vanilla?
it's not aged in barrels. Like, I don't know why I get asked that question all the time.
I think it's somebody said that.
Yes,
In
I know who did too.
But that's okay because then my kid wouldn't be able to enjoy it
That's
because it would
true,
have
right?
real bourbon in it.
Right. No, there's no alcohol.
Well, there's a
in
long
it.
history of that. I mean, Coca-Cola started out with like cocaine or whatever it was, right?
Right. And we don't use any of that either.
No cocaine
Yeah.
in your soda? Oh, man.
Did your wife had to talk you out of that?
No comment.
Well, I'll just say on a personal note, I gave up soda about 6 years ago, and I never ever drink soda. And I grabbed a bunch of yours because I saw it was local, and we had a party. And then I ended up sipping a little bit because I was thirsty, and it was absolutely wonderful. I mean, normal soda grosses me out now. You couldn't pay me $50 to drink a Coke after I've been off of it. But, like, I love your sodas. I mean, I've only tried the bourbon vanilla and the almond, but they're absolutely delicious. They're not, like, super sweet. They're, like, the flavor comes first more than just the sweetness, and just really delightful, and they're really unique.
I appreciate that, and that's our whole idea. Is we're not trying to sell this thing in gallon jugs and 40-ounce cups. The idea is we're not we're one of the few people out here trying to sell stuff without saying overconsume this and find ways to get you to drink a 6-pack a day. The idea is you should drink other things that are healthier for you, but when you do want to treat yourself, as I always do, even when I'm eating healthy, I would rather, when I decide to treat myself, have something that's worth having versus having something that's,
I think that's nice. Now, I is that why it is? When I've seen it, it's not in a container like a
Right.
pack. Is
Well,
that
we-
a
right now-
philosophical?
and we are selling just individual bottles, and it's not completely altruistic. It's just a matter of trying to keep the price down when we're starting, because when you're doing small runs, it's hard to compete on a price point, and just by having fewer packaging in the box allows us
People are willing to give it a
Well, that-
try because they
Keep
don't
the
know what
price
it's
down.
like, and they'll
And
buy one.
it's cheaper to buy one than it is to buy
Yeah, I mean, the
six.
grocery store, Rouse's, for
That's
example,
great.
sells individual beers now, which is great. And
Right.
and then you can try one and find out if you like it before you commit to a whole
Yeah.
6-pack or a case. And same principle can hold for a new
Yes.
soda like
And
yours.
Well, I like that because it helps you as a business owner, and it also you're keeping your costs down out of consideration for us
for the
So,
consumer.
yeah,
But we
so-
have had a lot of demand for the packs, and so those will be coming down the line for sure.
Okay. I know we need to get to your plus one. We want to know who your mystery guest is. And I will like you to introduce who you've brought today.
And why?
Should I start with the name or just a background? I mean, do we
Either
just say
one.
the
You
mystery
could-
guest out loud to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Today I brought with me Chris Schlumbrecht. He is the owner of CS Events, which is an event planning and catering company. Chris just started last year, and I brought Chris for a couple reasons. One, like me, he's a new entrepreneur in New Orleans, but he's also somebody that, going back over a decade, he worked in this business in restaurants and, in the Superdome at the New Orleans Arena and VIP event planning and catering. And his job, as a lot of young people do, take you elsewhere as you have to make a living. And he went around the country. He's worked for various minor league franchises and and NFL franchises like the Tennessee Titans. And after the storm and everything else, he's been able to find his way back here. And I want to let him tell you the story how he started, because it's very interesting. But I think it's great when people can come back here after leaving and bring something back to the city and bring their experience back to the city. And on the second part of this is I brought Chris because I do supply Chris, but I'm not the only local vendor supplying him. Chris goes out of his way to source companies like mine, and can maybe name some of the other ones too. It's when you use Chris, you're getting a lot of authentic Louisiana stuff. So after all that, I'll introduce Chris, and he can tell you a little more.
All right, welcome, Chris.
Welcome. Hi, guys. I'm actually fairly impressed that Roy actually listens when I talk to him. Knows all of that about me. I'm a local from down here in New Orleans. I was born here. My company is CS Events of New Orleans. We do catering and event planning. A little background about myself, kind of like Roy said, is prior to Katrina, I worked with Audubon. You can't get more local than the Audubon Nature Institute. Right. And I've been in food and beverage my whole life. After Katrina, I was with the Brennans, Mardi Gras Productions. Every job I've had was local. And then I worked with the Saints and the Hornets over at the Superdome in their VIP area. As Roy said, it kind of took me to other places across the country. And after about 5 years of that, when you're born and raised here in New Orleans, your goal is to get back to New Orleans. Yeah. So I literally picked up one day. I had enough and threw everything I could fit into a U-Haul, me and my dog, and I called my family and I said, somebody find me a room. And they said, well, what's going on? Where you at when you coming? I said, well, I'm in Virginia. So, I'm halfway there.
Yeah, be another 16 hours and I'll be
there.
Exactly.
Exactly. And basically my story consists of, I got here, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I was good at and I knew what I knew. And I did my tax return and got a little money back in February of 2014. And I said, what do I want to do? You know what? I'm going to try catering because I know I'm good at it. And I'm going to do it with a twist, though. I'm going to take it upon myself and make sure that I'm giving the product that I would have wanted while I was at all of these places that were not New Orleans.
Right.
And I went on Amazon.com and bought 4 chafing dishes, and that's how it started, and the rest is kind of history.
You got more than 4 now?
We definitely have more than 4. We have a warehouse full of them now. We average about 16 events per month, starting at about July of last year. We've taken on some very big local clients, and I'm not going to drop names.
Why not?
The CYA,
Okay.
But like Roy said, one of the things that I strive for is right now our company is at 78% all local products. And what that means is we really try hard, and I use the word we all the time. It's me, I tried very hard, exactly. You know how that works. Yeah. I've gone out and I've looked at places and we've created menus and we've found local purveyors, local vendors, local craftsmen, such as Roy, that make very unique product. For the first 4 months, we were using that other soda that everybody drinks. Yeah. And I literally came across Roy on a commercial, I think. And I said, let me reach out to him and see what can happen. And we're actually in the process of fading that other cola out probably within the next month. And our catering department, is going solely to Fest Cola as our beverage of choice, unless, you specifically ask me for something. But, Fest Cola is going to be our main product there.
Well, you're doing a favor to the whole community because you're recirculating the dollars through the community. You're building up something that's local and interesting.
Yeah.
And the soda's going to be better than whatever big soda you've been using, I'm sure.
Personally, I find it to be a great product.
Yep.
And we have clients.
So what's the downside? I guess it's a little pricier maybe.
We don't look at that. Yeah. We really don't look at the price. We use Boscoli Foods, so very local.
Yes.
They make a lot of our product that we use throughout our menu. You can't get more local than somebody that's been around the city for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I'm over-exaggerating there with the 100 years, but you're talking
probably
about,
has been 100, yeah.
It's been pretty close.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a company that started here and now literally provides product across the country.
Right.
And I've spoke with them recently. They actually just signed a deal with Walmart to supply things across the world in different territories. But what we like to say is we have them here in New Orleans. I can go to that warehouse. I talk to the owner. I say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. He hands it to me. I take it into our kitchen, and then we're giving it to you. Yeah. So there's no passing it through customs or trying to get shopping at, let's call it, Walmart.
Yeah.
So
now when you use Fest Cola, you've used them already at events now?
We do.
Okay, so how many units would you be using at like one of the larger events that you're...
We actually just did an event. I made a small purchase from him for 3 events, and we're about ready to re-up on that. So yeah, in 3 events we went through about 12 to, I think, 10 to 12 cases.
All right.
And we're talking 50, 60 people, little small meeting areas, but people love the product. The
great.
Satsuma is just a phenomenal product, and I think it's got a lot to do with there's nothing else out there like it.
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like they'll see it, they know it's Fest soda when they get it, right? And they're gonna know, and then they're gonna want it other times too. It's almost like it's a calling card that'll multiply then, right? I mean,
definitely. We get a lot of guests. Speaking specifically of Fest Cola, over the last couple weeks, that you put the soda out there, and we've done a couple buffet style for our catering. The soda's kind of just sitting there for people to take as is. And at the beginning of the event, you kind of get people walking up, looking at it, going, "What the heck is this?" And by the end of the event, you got people saying, "Can I take 2 of those? Hey, there's 1 left. Can I have it? I'm going to take this home to the kid." But that's part of what I wanted to do. It's kind of like the pay it forward atmosphere of, I am local. You're local. You, like your story about the restaurant, you don't want to eat at that fast food place.
No, I feel guilty when I do.
Exactly. There's too many other great places and great people out there that are trying to make it work.
Right. And I already know what the other one tastes like. I don't know what the local one's going to taste
exactly.
like. It gives me a new adventure. Yeah.
That's the best part of this job that I have, is when I get calls from restaurants that I've never been to, and getting over there and finding out where all the great spots are.
Yeah.
Don't y'all think it's an exciting time? I mean, you're newly back. I mean, a year, and you're from here. But I think this is a great time in New Orleans to be doing what y'all are both doing. And there seems to be a real excitement for local products and appreciation, and people moving here, young people moving here from other places and enjoying what we provide.
Right.
So...
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay. No, I completely concur with you. In the first few months as we were trying to develop our menus, years ago when I was working with the Superdome, you got to have gumbo in the Superdome. You got to have etouffee, and we used local purveyors for those items. But getting back and doing the research and finding out the stuff that was out there when we were trying to put together our menu was just amazing at the amount of people that are out there today in 2014 and 2015 that in 2008 when I was here, those people weren't here with these products. People just in their basements creating honeys and bourbons and wines and beers such as, Nola Brewhouse, where we're at today, has been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
But different
not
food.
Too long.
Not too long, but... Yeah. Longer than the people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And just the amount of products that are flavorful and amazing and can still sit there and say, you know what, we were born here, we were raised here, and we're keeping it local.
Excellent.
Now you serve alcohol at most of your events probably, or adult events. I bet you that Fest Cola works great as a mixer with a bunch of different things. Like what flavor would go best with rum?
I'll tell you, we do use some local wines out of Bush, Louisiana, Pontchartrain Vineyards, and we use some local vodkas and rums made here.
Right.
And our gin that's made here in Louisiana goes great with the Satsuma.
With the Satsuma. That sounds, that's brilliant.
With some gin.
What's the gin company? What's the
Donna Peltier, the Ariser Gin.
Yeah.
They're a great product out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. We love these guys. White Lightning whiskey is very good with the bourbon cream soda.
Ah.
You don't think about it. I have some really talented bartenders that we work with that you put them at a bar, and because we try to stay local, we have a limited selection.
Right.
I don't have Captain Morgan
Yeah,
on
yeah,
our
yeah.
bar.
Yeah, but who needs it?
Well, I don't need it,
Yeah.
But you put them there and you say, okay, this is what you have to work with, make it work, and the guests like the fact that it is local, but they're still kind of hesitant on, okay, well, I like rum and Coke, but you don't have Coke, so this almond soda now has to work with your local rum, and it really meshes well.
Huh.
Now-
So we haven't really worked with a lot of bar partners yet. We haven't gotten there, but we do have an arrangement with Joy Theater. So if anyone wants to have our stuff and try them in beverages, and they're looking for an evening out, look for some Joy Theater events coming up. We
That's
sponsor
great.
down
Oh,
there.
the Joy that's one. I mean, it brought joy to all of us to see that place open up again too, and just the great lights there and everything out front. That's terrific. So they're using your soda with their they serve drinks.
We are
there.
in there. We're doing sponsorships in some of their concert series,
Oh, that's
and
great.
they're experimenting, and they'll do whatever you want. Yep. So,
Cool.
so yeah, they've done a great job over there renovating and getting that place back and exciting again.
Now, does Koshan use it? I know they use your soda. Do they use it with any mixed drinks?
They, as far as I know, are just doing it as a soda. I haven't heard of any mixed drinks there. Another customer, Shiba on Oak Street, that does sushi, that is does the Satsuma mint.
That is a great sushi place. A really good sushi place.
It is awesome, and some people are really starting to discover it now. They have a drink there called the Flat Out using the Satsuma mint. That's very, very good.
Well, Margot, let's just stop for a minute to thank our sponsors of tonight's show. Thank you tonight to NOLA Brewing Taproom, the watering hole of the NOLA Brewing Company on Chapatula Street in the Irish Channel, where you can get all of NOLA Brewing's beers plus another 8 specialty beers you can't get anywhere else.
And let me tell you about our friends at Petite Pet Care. While you're at work or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com.
And thanks, too, to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website, hddestroyer.com, write Midnight Menu in the coupon code, and you will get 30% off your order of Hangover Destroyer. And seize the dawn.
I'm going there.
I'm gonna need some after
We
the
may
show.
need that after tonight, yeah.
All right. Before we go to off the menu, I want to just ask you a little bit about. Now, Roy, you grew up here, and will you tell us a little bit about your background and maybe your family's background and how that might have led to where you are today?
Yep, I was born in Covington in 1974. I've lived between here and Metairie. I've never actually.
You don't look 40, man.
I was never actually in a New Orleans address. I was right on the other side of the 7th Street Canal, so I guess it kind of qualifies. Like, kind of cut my teeth on beverages more uptown my whole life in high school. I graduated from Newman High School. My family and I have worked in my family business. My family business is Elmer Candy Company that
Oh, wow.
started on Magazine Street in 1855.
Okay. Wow.
Oldest privately owned candy company in the country.
The oldest privately owned candy company in the country. All the rest have been bought up by Hershey or whatever and Nestle. And
Exactly.
This is still independent.
Right.
That little bitty company over there,
Yeah.
So, I became involved with them and worked there around 1999. I spent a lot of years doing national account sales there, but I guess I started really on delivery trucks back when I was 13 and working in shipping and working in the plant and working, working in the kitchen and actually making the candy. And I got a business degree in marketing and entrepreneurship, and that kind of led me back to the plant there. And so I've always, got a bird's eye view of what companies can do down here for employing people and giving back to their community. So,
Was your family supportive of you? Didn't you move away too and work other places? And
Yeah, well, I went to school up in Massachusetts at a small entrepreneurial school called Babson College, and I started interning for Frito-Lay while I was there, and they were supportive. In fact, the big thing was my father wouldn't pay me over minimum wage. And he said, "Well, if you my junior year, after doing 2 summers at
So we can thank your father
at
for
$4.55 an hour."
Wow.
He said, "Well, if you can find another job that'll pay you more, he's like, go ahead, but just remember you have free room and board down here with that $4.55." So he actually got sick and went in for a double bypass, and when he came out, I had a job paying a 10% commission with a $200 base and made $1,000 a week that summer with Frito-Lay on commissions.
Wow.
So I'm glad I passed on the $150 paycheck. But did so well there. That led to that job. And that's really where I got my delivery experience and running routes and going into customers. And it kind of grew from there where I don't go into a little backstory. I left Frito-Lay thinking I was going to go into engineering. It's a complete sidetrack. It turned out math at engineering school was a lot harder than business school. And I was not doing very well. I was kind of failing out of physics class. And the family company called. They needed a specialist in the area I worked for at Frito-Lay. And my brother made me an offer. And I picked up the call in class and got yelled at by the professor. Then packed my bag, walked out of class, got a refund because it was first week and second week. Don't forget that part. Paid for my storage and my move, and I was back here in a week. I've been here ever since.
oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, we have to go to the part of the show called Off the Menu, where we ask y'all a question that you would not have to answer in any professional environment or any
Okay,
respectable.
I'm so scared.
No. So, Ray, do you want to start with our
Sure. Okay.
special guest,
Why don't I do
Roy?
it with Roy? Okay. Well, you're local, so let me ask you. A lot of folks have their, the perennial question was like, Paul McCartney or John Lennon. I want to give you a few dyads like that about some restaurants, iconic restaurants that everybody loves, but see what your choices are and just kind of rapid fire here. So, how about Parkway Bakery or Dom Elise's?
Parkway.
Okay. Antoine's or Arnaud's?
Antoine's.
All right.
It's going to be hard when you run across a customer of mine.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting you on the spot here. I know you're thinking, like, who have I been talking to about?
Who do I not have a meeting with this week?
Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, this was a little more obscure, but you can do it.
That's the
Domenico
cheap martinis made that decision.
What's that?
The cheap martinis.
There you go.
Only on that specific day. Every other day, Arnaud's.
All right. We know that you like them both and all these, but, between one or the other. All right. Domenico or Ancora?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Domenico.
All right. Le Boulangerie or Hadel's?
Well, Hadel's is the only one I've had there. So
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. All right. That was informative. I think I agree with most of those. Didn't matter if I don't, but. All right.
That's the easy way out.
All right.
All right.
Very political there.
Well, yours is
sides.
not so much fun. It's a little more serious.
The answer is red. Always, the answer is red.
Okay. Since adolescence, Chris, what 3-year period do you feel you've experienced the most growth?
Wow.
Wow. That's not like his questions.
No, I'm sorry.
What 3-year period do I feel like I experienced the most growth?
Personal growth.
Personal growth, I would have to say in 2008, I left the Superdome and started on a 3-year journey that I ended up in Connecticut. Stopping off in Oxford with Ole Miss and then Wilmington, Delaware for a couple of years. And I literally traveled to about 18 different states in those 3 years. So personal growth, I can honestly say that kind of from 2009-ish to 2013, being born here and kind of sticking around here and not going too far, personally, those were the most informative years. And kind of informative of when I decided I don't like the Northeast. So, but personally, I think I probably grew as a person more being away from family and away from friends that I've literally grown up with for almost 30 years.
But you got to sample 18 states, and you still were dying to come back here.
You know what? There is literally no place like New Orleans. People say it all the time. Yeah. There is no place.
Well, you prove it. Yeah.
No place like New Orleans.
The more places you go to, then it just makes you want to come back.
Yeah, it rings forever true.
Amen.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was very interesting and honest. Appreciate it. Sorry I didn't give you a silly one, but
okay, I'll take it.
Roy, I was wondering how y'all come up with all your marketing. First of all, I love the design on the bottle.
That was going to be my next question. That's
okay.
So funny. Yeah.
I think it's clean and beautiful, and it's pleasing and simple, elegant.
Margot's an artist too.
And I love some ads I've seen. Like, I don't know if they're hysterical. Like the pecan and pecan.
And pecans.
Where are these? He's on TV?
Well,
They're
Roy
on
can
TV.
tell us
you
about.
can also find them on our YouTube channel. Just Profess Cola, and we ran them through Mardi Gras. We ran them through St. C's, and with our shoestring budgets, we'll probably be running the same ones till the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you get the revenue to do that? That's amazing.
But how did you come up? And maybe you could share like the pecan one. I think is pretty funny. I don't know if you can describe it over the.
That's a hard one to describe. Basically, it's just porta potties that come up, and it says pecan and dictionary style pecan and pecan in dictionary style.
Kind of a riff on Northerners too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, a little bit of
a little bit. That's kind of what we were going for, and of course, we were comparing one to something that you use on on the neutral ground during Mardi Gras, and the other one that gives the drink a smooth, creamy flavor. I think it would make a good T-shirt. Actually, I've had some emails from that one saying you should make this into a T-shirt.
Dirty Coast. That has it written all over it. Yeah.
So did you come up with the packaging, and or did y'all have assistants?
I have to give a shout out on this one. I hate to give free plugs, but
no,
it
please.
is free radio.
That's all the show is.
This is what y'all do.
String of free plugs. Yeah.
Right, no cheap plugs, but it came from. I work with the company that was formerly down a magazine called CPR and Partners, and it's really a group of marketing people that are all creative types. So you don't go into a company and deal with people from the top to bottom that are going to corporate you to death. So I'd recommend them to any small people looking to have some cool, sleek branding to check those guys out. I'd like to take complete credit for it myself, but I can't. We did work a lot on the brand feel, and a lot of the initial stuff comes from, when you go in to do that kind of stuff, a lot of it does come from the owner. They have to take what your vision is, and then I can't draw more than a stick figure, so so it comes down to relying on people to make your vision come true, and they really did a good job. It's exactly what we wanted and intended is how you described the labels that really pleased me when you the way you did it there.
Well, it's beautiful.
It shows the river, right? It's supposed to be the Mississippi, right? In the lines.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that one, and it's kind of supposed to have a record feel to it. And these are all things you don't notice on first look to me, right?
It's got something about old school
and new school.
We were hoping
old school retro, not nostalgic, because a lot of the old bottled sodas all came from 80, 90 years ago, and they're all stuck in the same nostalgic packaging. That's what sells their product, and it's something that I didn't want to do coming out in 2015. When you come out with a product, you only have so far you can deviate to the brand that you initially put out there. If we had done that, we would have kind of pigeonholed ourselves. And you brought up the point of the young people being the real movement of all these products and willing to go out there and try and support smaller companies. And those are the people that we were trying to speak to when we came up with this product. And I think they like old school retro.
Yeah.
It's got, right behind you is hanging a picture of Professor Longhair, and it's got sort of that sort of 1970s. You can picture a single of Professor Longhair. I made that up. That's not really Professor Longhair. I saw Tipatina, and I made that up. I saw a black guy next to Tipatina, and I made up Professor Longhair. I don't think that's him, is it?
No.
No. Anyway, well.
No.
come check it out at NOLA Brewing's Tap Room. NOLA Brewing's Tap Room is open from 2 o'clock to anyway. So
we're digressing.
Yeah. No, it's got that sort of 70s swirl figure you can see in that, and it looks like old Jazz Fest posters and all that too. It's kind of got that same feel.
Yeah, we're not blasting what's all about on the product there, and we definitely want to look cool than just put a whole bunch of blurbs like "drink this is great and we're wonderful" kind of thing. So, hopefully, sometimes it makes it harder for people to find. So, that's the downside. But we're just we don't compromise on flavor and we don't compromise on taste.
Excellent. Now, this is kind of a two-part thing. Chris, did you make it out to Hogs for a Cause?
I did not make it out for Hogs, but we actually had 2 weddings this weekend.
Oh.
So I worked all weekend. I'm on day number 23 of work, so...
Oh, boy.
And this is the first year it didn't rain. You could have enjoyed it without the rain.
Yeah, I was in town last year, and I tried to get out there, but it was just slopping wet.
So what scale can you do? Like, can you do an event for 10 people up to what? Or is it, do you have an ideal?
We like to keep minimums at about 25.
Okay.
Just because when you're getting in the kitchen and you're cooking for 5 people costs almost as much as it does to cook for 20 people. With that said, we did a fundraiser for the NOPD crime camera back on the 21st with a great group of Tulane students, and there was 350 individuals there. So anything from 10 to, I guess, 350, and our largest one was about 750 over the course of 2 days.
Great.
So
you can basically do something for anybody.
We could do something for anybody. We do weddings. We have 3 different departments: the event planning department, the rental department, and then the catering department.
Okay.
So we're kind of like your one-stop shop. You come to us. We get a lot of people that come to us for catering, food-wise, local foods, and then realize, oh, well, your tents, your chairs, your jazz band, your parades, we do all that,
right.
And then we have, the planning department, we plan weddings and birthday parties and everything else.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Now, I asked about Hogs for a Cause because was your product used in a...
We were not sponsors, but we did sneak our product in.
Okay.
Through a team called Team Swino, and it really went to the head chef, and they used it actually in the creation of their award-winning barbecue sauces. I don't know if they won this year, but
wait, what did they use which flavor did they use in the barbecue sauce?
They did the one that they called the Judge sauce. The one that they ended up submitted used the bourbon cream soda.
Wow.
And which they did on as their rib rub and rib sauce.
What can't you use this soda for? I mean, will it heal like gout and stuff?
Yeah. So I hear.
It's like a hand cream. Will it moisturize? Like, what the hell? It's like all purpose. You make barbecue sauce out of it too?
You definitely can make barbecue sauce out of it, and I think with our added ingredients to the sweetness of it, it really does. A lot of people have done that with a regular root beer, and just giving the extra things that we put in there gives it a completely unique taste and kick to go along with the other stuff.
All right,
they
I got
did.
an idea for you right now.
Right.
I'm going to give it to you right now. You don't have to give me a penny royalties. Just send me one signed copy when it's done. Cookbook. You got to get a Fest soda cookbook. You got your first recipe right there. You got the barbecue sauce. You got a drink section with the cocktails.
Right.
Boom, done.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah, self-print.
But you
it.
got to
This
call
is
it
one,
cola.
'cause I've always
it's
made
not
7
soda.
I
You're
call
from
it
the
soda.
north.
Yeah, I'm
you
I'm
can
letting
say
off, I'm
soda
from New
or
York originally.
cola.
You don't care.
It's cola.
Interchangeable.
It's cola. Sorry about
People
that.
are like, why did you call it cola and not soda? I said, well, I think when we say cola in New Orleans, we're referring to any kind of soda.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of houses you go into, they're not saying, do you want a Coke or cola? They're asking you if you want something to drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
And is soda a northern thing? Like, does soda mean everything?
It goes to soda. And
Soda,
in the
pop.
Midwest, it's pop.
Yeah, pop in the Midwest. I never
Can't
said
stand that word, pop.
That's awful.
But, I
No
always
offense
had,
to all our listeners
speaking
in the
of
Midwest.
foods in the cookbook,
I
I've
sang
always
the
been
praises of Cincinnati
into
last week.
like making 7-Up biscuits at home. I can't believe I haven't tried this. So last night, after doing the root beer, I'm like, why don't I just start swapping these out and see if I can make some good biscuits? Haven't done it, so I'll have to get back to you and let you know.
That's your next recipe. You're done. This will make
And-
itself, this book.
And bring it in.
Let me
so
write
we
the
can
forward.
try it.
Well,
to
I'll
come
tell you
back.
a quick short story is the bourbon cream soda actually makes a really good teriyaki glaze. And the only reason I found that out is because I did. True story. I accidentally spilt the bottle in the teriyaki chicken that we were doing one day. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just feed this to the kids. So we cooked it anyway, and we ate it. And I'm sitting there going, dang, this is really good. I'm going to have to tell Roy about this. I never did, but now I am on live, podcast. Great teriyaki chicken.
All right, I can see a whole network of testimonials you can do with this. I grew 3 inches after I drank your bourbon cream. So, yeah, it's unbelievable. Unfortunately, we're totally out of time, aren't we?
Yes.
That's a bummer.
We want to thank y'all so much for joining us tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One. I know both of y'all are, your time is precious. You're 23 days on, and you and your wife are delivering Fest Cola. You are delivering,
and we have a 1-month-old baby. So.
A 1-month-old baby.
Yes.
Wow. I got a suggestion.
Came out 11
Best
pounds.
Cola in the bottle.
Came out 11 pounds, and she was drinking Fest. So we're
That's
going to go with one.
Wow. 11 pounds?
He's top 1 percentile.
Oh, yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah,
healthy.
That is
It
a
makes your
case
baby
of
very
cola.
strong.
11-pound baby. That's huge.
Yeah. It's all muscle, I'm saying. He's not one of those diabetic babies that comes out.
Do you have a picture of
That's
him?
the problem. You have the babies are born with crack or like whatever. This baby's born with like a cane sugar addiction.
Do you have a picture of him lifting Fest Colas, like weights?
Above his head?
Dumbbell?
Above his
The best thing about
month.
babies, as you know, I know you have a 12-year-old too, right?
He does have a Fest Cola bib that says, can't wait for my first
There you
bottle.
go. The best thing about babies is that they make great photo props. Terrific photo props.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For
Well,
ads?
she does
For
that all day
anything.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many pictures of my kids doing weird stuff and their babies.
We've got
It's great.
thousands.
Yeah.
It's like literally hundreds per day.
Wow.
Well, congratulations, and
you.
thank you
And we
very
really
much.
enjoyed being here.
Thanks
too.
for having us.
Well, our special guest
Appreciate
tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One was Roy Nelson of Fest Cola, and his plus one was Chris Slumbreck. Slumbreck?
You got it, man. You got it.
Chris
Yes.
Slumbreck
That's a hard one.
of CS Events
Of New Orleans.
of New Orleans. Very important. You can find out more about both of our guests and much more by following the links on our website, itsneworleans.com. That's itsneworleans.com.
And thanks to Petite Pet Care, Hangover Destroyer, and the NOLA Brewing Tap Room for the awesome beer this evening.
And if we haven't said it yet, the NOLA Brewing Tap Room, we have said it yet, but we're going to say it again. NOLA Brewing Tap Room is open 7 days a week. Every day, you can come here anytime, and you can join us back here next week for another Midnight Menu Plus One.
But wait, before we go, I'd like Roy and Chris to say their websites and if they want to plug any upcoming event or anything like that.
Chris, go ahead.
Well, ours is www.csevents with an S, NOLA.com. And just stay close to the website. We've got a lot of cool features coming up, including a special happy hour Monday through Thursday.
Okay, great.
And we're at Fest Colas at www.festcola.com. And you can contact us. Anyone interested in carrying the product can contact us through the customer service tab there, and I will personally get back to you.
Wow. All right. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potty mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.